let's get to this Dan Lanning story. This Dan Lanning story came out 3 days ago on ESPN.com. And the point of this is not, there's nothing newsy here. But we love movies, comic books, all that sort of stuff here. We love origin stories. And the Dan Lanning origin story is one that's pretty inspiring. And if you're about Dan's age, like I am, it's also depressing because you realize what a lazy sack of shit you are. But whatever, I've accepted it, Put me at the all-inclusive buffet, guys, with the pina colada. Actually, preferably just with like a tequila on the rocks, or maybe even neat. But it's a piece that came out Friday by Paolo Uggetti of ESPN.com. At 24 years old, Aaron, at 24 years old, Dan Lanning was a high school teacher and an assistant coach at Park Hill South High School in North Kansas City. Todd Graham gets the Pittsburgh job. He had known Todd Graham through a couple of coaching clinics. So what did Dan do? He thought, this is my opportunity. This is exactly what he said. Quote, I just didn't want to be the guy that was sitting on his recliner 15 years later saying, man, what if I would have just gotten in my car and drove to Pittsburgh? The whole drive there was kind of the same thought. I never really spent time thinking about this might not work out. I just wanted to think about, if I don't do this, how much will I regret it? So Dan, at 24 years old, assistant high school teacher, he teaches school for the day. What does he do then? He immediately gets in his car and he starts the 13-hour drive to Pittsburgh. Our guy's chugging Mountain Dews to stay awake. 4:30 a.m. He pulls into a gas station. He puts his probably really shitty suit on. He gets the pit at 5 a.m. Only to immediately learn that the head coaching staff was not there. They're at a coaching clinic at Penn State, but it's okay. He got a hotel room. He returns the next day. He meets with defensive coordinator Keith Patterson. They give him a volunteer opportunity, not even an internship, not even a GA, a volunteer opportunity. He immediately drives 13 hours back home, resigns from his job, drives 13 hours back to Pittsburgh, and gets to work. In 3 months, he goes from volunteer to intern to GA. He eventually becomes the recruiting coordinator. Then he's the Arizona State recruiting coordinator. Then he's a DB coach and co-recruiting coordinator at Sam Houston State. Then at Alabama GA. Then at Memphis. Then at UGA. And now, and it all started at 24 years old, betting on himself, money for a year so that he could work unpaid and do everything that he could to make his dream happen.
Dude, 11 years. That is wild. Wild, the ascension that fast for him. And you have it in our notes, but like working with Saban, Norvell, and Smart. I mean, three of the best in the game and in a variety of areas. Obviously, very, very defensive focus with them as well. So,
well, how about this? How about going from 1 year with Saban, 2 years with Norvell, 3 years with Smart? So it was like a literal graduate program for becoming a head coach, and it had offense and defense mixed in. He talks about that. Like he learned from Norvell, okay, how do I call an offense? And that also made him a better defensive mind as well.
Well, also how to recruit, how to run your program like a Fortune 500 company. I mean, everything. I mean, he worked his ass off to get to a position where you got to learn from the best of the best of the best of the best.
Yeah.
And then now that's why we're so high in it, man. Like you have to be a freaking crazy nut, hardworking SOB to be a great coach. Check, done. Like he proved to us that he can do that. I mean, his story is an incredible demonstration of that.
Yeah. All the anecdotal evidence here, it all goes back to two things: relationships, and he outworked everybody in the building.
Everyone.
No job was too small. Be grinding type 24/7. When he left for Kansas City, he left his wife stayed, or when he left for Pitt, his wife stayed back there so he could just like fully immerse himself and grind.
Is he America's coach?
He's infinitely likable. And again, so what I said work ethic. And then the other thing that's constantly highlighted in this piece is relationships. That he could be just as comfortable talking to the building's custodian, a recruit's parent, or like a $5 million, a booster that's about to give him a donation for $5 million. And we even saw that here on Snaps.
Yeah.
He's got a very ingratiating personality. He's got a charisma to him that is not, it's not like verbose or exuberant or over the top. It's
No.
just fucking cool and likable.
When it's not talking down to you at all either. You get
Yes,
some head
true.
coaches that, you're getting paid a lot of money. You're the king of the university. You're the king of the state, and you don't have time for everyone. And Dan never feels like that. And the multiple interactions I've had from his time at Georgia to obviously when we had him on the show a few months ago, just very likable. And then plus on top of that, with the recruiting, the guy's tatted up probably more than any other head coach in college football. So he's got
Yeah.
some swag too. Be like, look at what I got. Like,
Yeah.
you type in Dan Lanning and some of those tattoos start popping up. Some of the kids are like, all right, my coach got a little swag.
Well,
I
and of
like
course
it.
his wife's tattoo, the very famous one, and there's a bit of a sentimental moment there where his wife
Mhm.
got diagnosed, I believe, with bone cancer in 2016, and he actually kind of had to shift his focus from football to more family. She
Mhm.
beats it, and he just felt like reinvigorated, right? Like, God, I'm so grateful. And that's the other thing. There's a real, is this a word? Humbleness.
Mhm.
There's a real humbleness to Dan Lanning that in a man with a position of that power, like you were getting at, Aaron, is very attractive, and I
Yep.
think is just a great leadership quality in terms of not being too proud to take people's opinions and,
Yep.
and empower people to like to because like there's another piece in here where as a GA he was pretty vocal. Like if he
Mhm.
when he was watching film, if he saw something he thought he could work, he would say it. And at first, I was kind of rubbing some of the old heads the wrong way, the old Lions. But he was everybody's favorite in the building, according to
Yep.
Todd Graham, like a year later. And it's because he's humble, he treats people the right way. So
Mhm.
yeah, Dan Lanning, probably America's coach. Humility. That's
America's
what I was looking
coach.
for, Locke. Thank you. Not
Humility.
humbleness, humility. Thank you.
Mm.
And here I am priding myself on being
Now,
loquacious.
if he just stopped going for it on fourth down so much, just stop going for it on fourth down so much.
You're just
I
fucking pissed.
still will not get over that last year versus
Again, it
Washington.
giveth and taketh
What a
away. It
oh,
also helped them out multiple times that way. If you're going to hit on 16, you got to fucking hit on 16.
mm-mm.
You don't waffle back and forth. I think you're such a pussy for your opinion on his fourth
No,
down
no,
call.
no, 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 no. There are situations in which you
Ugh.
go for it, and there are situations in which you punt the damn football, especially when your defense is playing well and you win the football game against Washington. I'm just saying.
Zach says analytics loses so
They
many games
do.
for real. But okay, don't say that, Aaron. If you say that shit on TV this year, I'm going to clown the fuck out of you because guess what? They win a lot of games as well. The problem is, due to confirmation
I feel
bias,
like
you
I
don't
need
remember
the
the times
stats.
when it wins. You don't remember the times when it wins because you just think that team played great. They won the game. And so you don't
Saban
think
made a
about the plays that
great,
won them the
great,
game.
great quote about this last year, about the whole fourth down thing. And just understand, like, yeah, winning is great, but then losing is just, I think, almost worse at the end of the day, especially if you're backed up in your own territory. Like some of the stuff that like Lane does, where it's just kind of like, fuck it, first quarter, we're at the 50-yard line and we're just going to go for it. Guess what? You don't get it. That team is set up to score right away, almost in field goal range. So I
This has this
I'm all
this
about
was
being
all
aggressive.
no,
I'm just
no,
like
no,
I'm more of
no,
I'm
no.
very big time of game, position on the field. Then I'll take a little bit deeper look into analytics. Not
The
I don't
this all this
too
all
much,
reeks
too
of so
much.
I love competitive card games, played Hearthstone for
Yep.
years. And one of the concepts I got very familiar with, I think it was called negative confirmation bias, but it's one of those deals where when your opponent gets like a lucky draw, top
Yep.
deck, a lucky card, the exact card
Mhm.
they needed, um, you're like, oh, I fucking lost because, I'm unlucky. Shit sucks. But when you do it, you think you won because of skill. That's the same thing with analytics. When a team wins, you're not thinking about the fourth downs that they made during the game that set up the win. When they went for it, when it helped, you're thinking about the other plays that they made to win the game. You only think about those things in the loss, and so it
Yep.
creates a negative
I take it all into account when I'm looking at it.
bullshit, dude.
And more times than
You're
not,
so full of
when
shit,
I'm
man.
watching, I was like, what
You're
are we
so full of
fucking
shit,
doing?
dude.
Just
Uh,
kick the ball. Just
oh my
punt the
god.
ball.
How about
Oh,
how about how about how about Bo Nix just complete the fucking pass, you nerd? I mean,
that
the
too. I
call
mean,
is
come on,
good.
Bo.
You're
Just
right
just
there,
put
dude.
it in this just
Uh,
breadbasket.
that said, Bo Nix is pretty good right now in the NFL.
I know.
It's
People,
it's weird.
it's preseason, boys and girls. It's preseason.
To
Like
me,
let's
he's on the
calm down a
Alex
little bit.
Smith path. He's on the Alex Smith path. efficient, athletic, but not going to be super chunky ever. Right? Like you give me a quick
And
score.
that
Look,
shit's going to get swallowed up by defenses when they're just like, all right, we're just going to play man coverage and force you to push the ball vertically down the field. I mean, because preseason, I've
did
said this
Alex
before.
Smith push it vertically down the field though?
Alex Smith is a better quarterback than Bo Nix.
Yeah, but we're talking about comps here. It's like when we talk about somebody being like Pat Mahomes.
I don't know
I'm
if you can
saying
put
they're going
those
to be
two
fucking
guys in the
Pat
same
Mahomes.
comp.
Really?
No.
They don't feel like very similar guys
No.
comp-wise. You're fucking tripping. You're just saying that because you're a little Alex Smith fanboy from your time in Kansas City.
I am a big Alex Smith fanboy.
How do you know you wouldn't be a Bo Nix fanboy if you got to talk to him?
I like Bo Nix. I thought Bo Nix was a great coach. I defended Bo Nix for 4 years. Like it wasn't his fault. Auburn just sucked, and Auburn had no talent around him. Like he was balling his ass off. I just think he's a really good college quarterback. I don't know if his game translates to the NFL.
That is QB1 hater number 1, Aaron Murray. Here's the last thing on Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning, if you're an Oregon Duck fan, most importantly, is the man who stayed. And he will forever be loved and celebrated because of that. He said, quote, "When you make decisions before opportunities arise, I think it's really easy. And my family and I made a decision a long time ago. This will be, for us, the last place we coach. That means I have to win." And then Paolo goes on to write, "Whether he wants it or not, Lanning is now Eugene's beloved son. Unlike Mario Cristobal and Willie Taggart before him, Lanning has stayed. He hasn't used Oregon as a launching pad, but rather viewed it as a destination." And here's what Todd Graham said, quote, "He's wanted it his entire life. That was his mission. I wouldn't worry about Dan going anywhere else unless he wins 3 or 4 national championships or something. And then he might want to go win a Super Bowl." Because that's what Dan talked about. His whole goal when he set off on that drive, that 13-hour drive at 24 years old, his whole goal was become a head coach of a place that he thought had the ability to win championships.
But
and
he's also
clearly there now.
But let me defend the other two guys here for a quick second. He inherited a program that is now in the middle or the still very early stages of a thing called NIL.
Yeah.
And he has a guy that is funding the shit out of it.
Well,
so
that's
I
the
get
point,
like if other people may go to Eugene, take the excitement of the uniforms and the offense and whatever else, and you know, that is somewhat of a national brand. Say, okay, it's this really big national brand that I can get a lot of attention, but can I win a championship? I don't know, but it can springboard me to somewhere else. But now with NIL, it truly is a place that you can't win a national championship because they have the resources, they can pay for players, and you have the facilities.
Yeah,
you have
but
the
if we want to
uniform.
be honest, Oregon had played for national championships before this.
They have.
They made playoffs. So it's not like this is like so I get what you're saying. It's a better time than it's ever been.
It's the best time it's ever been to be in Eugene.
But they were still national championship caliber. Maybe not year in and year out like they feel like they could be now, but they still
if you're a league coach, like what we believe Dan Lanning is, you want to be fighting for a championship year in and year out, especially when you're at a place like Alabama and Georgia, and you saw that those programs were national championship caliber programs year in and year out. You're not trying to go once every 3 or 4 years. You're trying to get to the damn thing every single year. And now they can build a roster that could do that every single year.
The other thing about this is that's just life. Timing is like timing is everything in life, right? Like you can't have invented the computer unless you were alive in the early 70s when it didn't exist, right? Like they're just like when we have our window of opportunity on the earth, you just got to hope that like you create opportunity, and then sometimes you also are the benefit of just good context around you.
Yep. He's the best of the 3 coaches though. Hands down.
Of which 3?
The last 3.
What are you talking about? Oh shit. What? Yeah. I mean, well, yes. I mean, obviously Willie Taggart proved to be a flash in the pan. Mario Cristobal, good at some things, not good at winning. But again, this is the year where it changes, guys. If you ever hear anybody say Mario Cristobal fraud, stop them in their tracks and say, hey, that's not right. Okay. And I'm sick of your shit because he's winning 10 games this year. Might as well call him Mario Sarkeesian. He's finally getting it there.
I hope so.